When you think about film and television, you think about what you see on the screen. But there's an opportunity coming to Fayetteville that gets young filmmakers behind the camera. Earlier today, Jim Justice discussed with me why, for his campaign, he didn't really do any stops. Archery will give you something that's almost impossible to find elsewhere. Well, Tiger, right now, the Kanawha County Commission said in a statement that they're helping however they can.
Just hours after the most recent poll in the governor's race showed that Morrissey had a healthy lead in front of his competitors.
Thanks, Tiger. Yes, just this morning, Wyoming County School District received an all-electric school bus. Well, Tiger, Raleigh County itself has 7 contested races, from sheriff to magistrate and many others. And the race for Montgomery City Council was decided by these 2 cards.
And fortunate are we that it lies within a carriage ride's journey.
More like it only takes 1 tank of gas to get there. Thanks, Tiger. Christopher Butler, a Princeton High School resource officer, has been charged with 2 counts of sexual abuse and neglect of a child. This has been an ongoing investigation dating back to 2023. These charges come just over a week after the former Princeton wrestling coach had been arrested on similar charges. However, only the coach's case will be handled by the Mercer County prosecuting attorney due to Butler's role in the police department.
To get rid of any appearance of any impropriety, it's just best for, generally best for prosecutors from another county to prosecute cases involving police officers or former police officers that have worked, closely with the prosecutors here in the office, or have personal relationships with prosecutors or staff here in the office. So just to avoid any sort of appearance of impropriety, I felt it was best to get a special prosecutor assigned.
A special prosecutor from Monroe County will be handling the case against Butler. Butler is accused of attempting to engage in sexual activity with a female student who at the time was a senior at Princeton. The indictment also alleges that Butler let a student brandish a pistol in the way that endangers herself and others. The superintendent of Mercer County Schools was unavailable to make a comment on this case, as well as the prosecuting attorney from Monroe County. This is the second person associated with Princeton Senior High School that has been charged with sexual crimes against a student. The first was former wrestling coach Travis Francisco. He currently faces several charges of sexual intercourse, sexual intrusion, or sexual contact against students by a school employee. According to Cochran, as of now, there are no additional charges.
The next step for him, we've had I think he waived this preliminary hearing last week, so the next process would be the grand jury, which I anticipate that would probably be in June.
While Child Protective Mercer County can only speak about sexual abuse in general and not about any specific cases, the program director did tell me that trauma that comes from it is relentless.
We know obviously that abuse and neglect definitely cause trauma in people, in all people, specifically children. I think is a little more concerning because obviously their brains are still developing, and so any kind of trauma in childhood can negatively impact people as they develop.
This is a developing story, and we'll update you as we hear more. In Mercer County for Newswatch, I'm Serena Davanzo. A parent's love for their child is unwavering, even when they can't see them. Well, for 46 years, one father only had this image of his 2-year-old daughter to love, as he had no idea where she was. Well, the two recently reconnected, and they say it's like a missing piece of themselves is back.
When I turned and saw her for the first time, my heart skipped a beat, I'll be honest. And I just almost lost it right then.
Their journey back to each other starts in Cleveland, Ohio in the late 70s. After Marvin Lumpkin and his ex-wife separated, she moved with their daughter, Lavanya, down south. He tried looking for his daughter to no avail. Then when Lavanya was grown, she started the search for her father.
It took a long time, actually. I went to several sites. There's a lot of people with the same name that lived around the same time that he did, so it was much more just going down the list of everyone with that name and reaching out to everyone and hoping that somebody would hit me back. So that's basically how I did it.
He didn't believe it could be his little girl after all this time.
Well, honestly, I thought it was a scam. And it was several months before I even responded. And I don't even know what made me do it. Some just said, see who this is. So I did. And I asked her, I said, well, is your mother's name Beverly Jean Smith? And then it dawned on me, hell, I done gave the girl the name. So I asked her middle name. And I knew if she could answer that, then she was my daughter, because I gave her a very unusual name. Her middle name is Lakita Lynn, and it's all one name. And the L in Lynn is actually capitalized. So when she responded in kind, then I knew.
Just a few days after they connected on Facebook, he drove down to Alabama to see her in person.
It brought tears to my eyes. It really did. And I held on to her. I grabbed her and hugged her, and oh, Lord, you just don't know. It was still so dynamic. And I'm still, reeling from it. I'm still reeling from it.
It was like a dream. Like a dream had finally come true. It was, man. Oh, I'm going to cry. It was awesome. Just actually putting my actual eyes on him and actually hugging him for real, like close up. It was more than what I expected. Way more than what I expected.
Because they reconnected, he found out he has multiple grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
There are 4 generations in this picture.
The two now FaceTime every day and grow their relationship. Lavanya and her family plan on coming up to West Virginia for Marvin's birthday, aka Christmas, to celebrate and to start a new family tradition. In Glen Daniel for Newswatch, I'm Serena Davanzo. On January 9th, 2024, Beckley City Council voted to become a city manager style of government. Just over a year after the Beckley City Council voted to make Beckley a city manager style of government, the first city manager, Michael Rozier, has officially resigned, just shy of 2 months into the job. Rozier became the city manager on December 9th, 2024. The executive session meeting before the official announcement took less than 30 minutes for the council. The city council announced Rozier's resignation and said it was a mutual decision for both parties.
I mean, just it's unfortunate. I mean, it's not something we saw a couple months ago. I mean, we've been waiting for months to finally get a city manager here in Beckley. So it was the last thing that we wanted to see, but it was just a mutually agreed decision to part ways.
With Beckley not having a city manager now, the next step for the city would be to find an interim city manager. However, that won't be the final outcome.
From there, they being city council will determine the procedure they want to follow in recruiting the best possible city manager for the long term. And it's a process that we may go back through the recruitment firm, Baker Tilly, that helped us initially, or we may look at some candidates that we are able to come up with our own. But it will be city council's decision.
Now to the question many may have. Due to this, will Beckley go back to a strong mayor style of government?
No, there is no way the city can go back to a strong mayor form of government without amending its charter, which would most likely require an election by the people. So we're very new into the city manager form of government, and I think city council is certainly determined to see if this isn't the best course long term, and we'll just proceed to find a very good candidate to be the permanent city manager.
In Beckley for Newswatch, I'm Serena Davanzo.